Biotechnology and Biochemical Engineering from SET College of Engineering, Trivandrum, and a Master's in Management from Warwick Business School, UK. Eka Biochemicals is Adra's co-founded company. Eka Biochemicals Private Limited is the first entrepreneurial biotech company in Kerala that has been started by a very young woman. Founded by Ms. Adra Chandramouli and Ms. Gayatri, Chanyaki V. The company undertakes manufacture of biotechnological and biochemical and enzymatic products, chemical products, or extracts of biological origin. I am so sorry about that.
Our second panelist is Mr. Venkatesh Tyagarajan, CEO of Cabot Technology Solutions Private Limited. Venkatesh is a master's degree holder in business administration from the reputed St. Mary's University, Halifax, and has a bachelor's in engineering from College of Engineering, Trivandrum, Kerala University. Cabot Technology Solutions is a value-based IT consulting firm delivering high-value, cost-effective solutions using cutting-edge technologies. Our third panelist is Mr. Arjun Pillai, co-founder and CEO of Profounder. Mr. Arjun holds a bachelor's degree in electronics and communication engineering from Cochin University of Science and Technology. Profounder ambitions touching the lives of people by creating a range of visionary products and delivering services with distinctions. Profounder was founded by a team of technology and management enthusiasts who pursue the same vision.
Our next panelist is Ms. Ruby Vidambaram, co-founder and CMO, Fourth Ambit is she's our fourth panelist. I am so sorry.
Sorry. Our fourth panelist is Ms. Ruby Vidambaram. She's the co-founder and CMO of Fourth Ambit. She holds a PGDBE from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, and a bachelor's in electronics engineering from Government Model Engineering College, Gujarat. Founded in 2013, Fourth Ambit has been helping colleges build their online alumni network and community. And our final panelist is Mr. Vivek C, CEO and co-founder, Business Essence Consultancy Services Private Limited. He holds a PGDM in Marketing and Operations from Rajagiri Center for Business Studies and a BTech in IT from University of Calicut. This is Essence Consulting Services as a business consulting and enterprise IT solutions firm. And our moderator for the discussion is our Chief Guest, Dr. Jayashankar Prasad. Sir, now I request you to kindly take over the session.
Good morning, friends. Not wasting much time, we'll go into the session. The format that we're following is we'll get to know what they do, who these entrepreneurs are, and let them speak to you for maybe around 5 to 10 minutes as it goes. And then probably we'll have some specific questions towards them, some from my side, and a lot of them from your side is what we expect. And then we'll evolve, right? Even the panelists are open to asking questions to each other. So that's what we're trying to do. And just to introduce the topic to you, why this topic called innovation-led entrepreneurship or innovation-driven entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is now becoming a buzzword. And as we always say that in our days, when we say that I'm going to start something on your own, or my own, they ask you, did you get your job? Did you get through the campus placement? That was the first question that used to be coming up to us. But at least now, if you say that I'm going to start up, your college is telling you, okay, we're going to start up, they're promoting it. And even your parents are willing to. So that's a mind shift, the paradigm shift in your minds which have happened in parents, teachers, society in general, and the students as such. So this shift has happened, and that's why we have a lot of them sitting before us. Now, entrepreneurship is now it's a nice to have tag with you. You like to be called a founder, CEO, co-founder. Any number of tags go along with it. But then, is everything that you do an entrepreneurial attempt? Yes. You had the Startup India launch being conducted where it was said that any enterprise or anything that you do, any commercial activity is an enterprise, anything that you do becomes a startup. But then from my point of view, like the organization that we look into, we look at technology-driven entrepreneurship, but not necessarily that everything has to be technology-driven. And technology need not always mean ICT. There could be technology other than IT. We have an example here right before us. We have Dubai technology. Technology could be in a lot more areas. It could be in agriculture, it could be in healthcare. It can have its implications anywhere. But what we are trying to drive is, we wanted to have a technology-driven entrepreneurship is what we are trying to drive. There could be other forms also. But again, in any of these things, what makes an entrepreneur successful? Well, all those entrepreneurial traits, perseverance, hard work, vision, all the stuff are there. But there has to be something distinctly different from what is available. And generally you see that an entrepreneur looks at a societal problem or a potential problem, existing problem, or an area where you can better. And then you bring up a solution. And those are the kind of products, services, solutions which are going to strike the market and going to deliver results. So then what is it that, how can you define that particular thing? Which means that you got to innovate somewhere. You got to innovate in the technology, you got to innovate somewhere in the process, in the business model. If you have nothing else to innovate, you innovate on a cost-cutting measure. Somebody gives you a thing at a high price. If you can give the same kind of service at a lower price, you've added value. It's called the perceived value has changed. And that is what we are looking at. And we are looking at innovation-led entrepreneurship. So when an entrepreneur is bringing something onto the table, where the market needs, feels that there is a value. And I'd like to tell my panelists to look at, they can tell you the story, how they started, how they went through and what they are doing. And they can also tell you what was that element which you think was an innovative part in your business which made it great. I start with the most senior member of my panel. And the difference with him and the rest of them is most of these guys have come out of college and embarked upon this journey. This guy is as old as I am, but he doesn't look so. He was well settled in the US, probably decent, good, and I see a lot of faculty also were settled and come back and started teaching, so that again is an enterprising factor. So, what would bite you so heavily that you throw up your settled job, being there in the US, and in our days, I'm talking about early 90s. Getting into one of those major IT majors or MNCs and settling in the US was one of the, okay, that was the first kind of vision that people had. So what made you think different? And what made you come back? So I started with Venkatesh and I asked him to talk about Cabot, I asked him to talk about how they went about doing it. And in 2009, when he started here in Kerala. And then this way was not there. He started a bit ahead of that. What was different in his or innovative in his enterprise, which he thinks made it successful? So,
thank you. I think Jashankar aged me for a little bit. I'm like 2 years junior to him. He got double promotion in engineering. Good morning, everyone. So I think he has given the half the introduction of my story. So I studied with Jashankar in CET, and like many people at that point of time, we were all looking for the campus placements. And unlike these days, I think our batch had like what 30 people placed through campus or 40 people. I was one of these placement unit people, coordinators or something like that. So I took the job and I worked for a couple of years in India, natural gas, and then I was in US. I went to US. I jumped from my mechanical bandwagon to the IT bandwagon. So it's a regular story, it's a usual story, and then after going to US, I did my MBA and moved on to consultancy and whatnot. So through the course of 13, 14 years, I lived in US and Canada. I did work with several companies, Computer, DMR, Fujitsu, and throughout all those companies, I mean, from each company, each organization, you would learn a lot from the way it is happening. For example, there's a company called DMR. I mean, it's merged with Fujitsu Consulting. DMR had its own methodology called macroscope. Some people may recognize that. Macroscope is a very process-driven methodology kind of thing. So I learned a lot from that. And so there was a lot of learning throughout all these things. And somewhere in 2008, 2009, it occurred to me that And it was not actually, even though the entrepreneurship wave that you see now is not there. I think 2008, 2009, people were beginning to come back, and most of them would come back and join a big MNC, because 2007 or something like that is when all the Microsofts and Googles they started making big centers here, and they were all looking for people of knowledge and expats that they thought would come back and take over big jobs here. I didn't want a job here, but I wanted to come back here and create an organization. Mostly, and because whenever I used to come here, I had friends working in Trivandrum Technopark, and one of our friends, Shivashankar, is there. So I would call him up and say that, can we meet for a coffee or something? And he would say, yeah, I will come and pick you up. And he would call me at 11:30 at night, and he said, can we go for a coffee now? Because that's when he was free. So I said, well, why do we have to do this thing? I mean, all the work culture and everything was so different here. So my drive actually to start Cabot was to say that let's have an organization that offers something different to its employees. Actually, so that's my thing. It's not about the customers. It's not about my US outsourced clients or anything like that. I wanted to create an organization which has a very rich employee culture, very different employee culture, where people really enjoy working, and it should be like a college kind of thing. So that was my vision. So I came back and we started this, and I remember a lot of funny things that I did when I came. So we started with casual Fridays, and people are all using, and now everybody is in jeans and everything like that. Like you look at us here. But in an IT organization, they were all fully suited up and all, and not suited up, but still. So I said, on Fridays we are going to wear jeans. And okay, we're going to wear jeans. And there were 3 or 4 ladies in meeting, and they said, no sir, we cannot wear jeans and not to come to office. I said, if you want to wear jeans, you pay 5 rupees and we will donate to local charity or something like that. So we had the casual Fridays, and so a lot of those things. So and Cabot today, we have about 80 people. We are in Lulu, Cyber Tower. So in terms of innovation, and it's very funny because innovation is another, it's probably over its cliche now, but Cabot's tagline is innovation to the core. So innovation was a word that everybody says, we want to innovate. It's almost it's overused, and in all instances so I get a chuckle when I see that innovation driven entrepreneurship. Innovation is just nothing but just thinking a little bit differently than what others do. So innovation in terms of Cabot comes in 2 ways. One, primarily it's focused internally. So I always believe in saying that you create a team and you just let it go, and then the team is capable of doing anything. So believe in the people in your organization, and as long as you have the team, they will do it. I also say that technology is like this much. If you're running a company, I would say it's about 85% of other things and 15% on technology. Even a company like Cabot, who does a lot of leading edge things, we work with a lot of IoT companies. We are into so many different. We are right now working on an agriculture-based IoT solution platform. All those things. Even when we are doing all that, I would still say that it's about the team, the people, who, if we can motivate them enough to see these things. Technology is very easy to learn, and when we recruit people from colleges also, we never look for a technology background at all. We only, there are 2 things we test for. One is mathematical ability, and another one is language comprehension. Those are the only 2 things that's in the test. Because I always believe that we can easily teach anybody C++ or Java or iOS or Android or anything like that, provided they are willing to learn. So that is the only thing. So innovation, in a way, is that to find the right talent and then do that. So why I came back is because of that. Just briefly about what does Cabot do, so that if you want to ask questions on it. Cabot is an IT services provider, and we are not in one particular domain. We are in the technology domain, and every year, every 2 years, we kind of refresh our technology almost. So we started with Java. We ran through a session where we were doing a lot of Adobe Air and Flex. Most of you would not have heard that. and then floods disappeared, and then we moved into mobility. We were doing a lot of iOS, Android mobility, and then we did a lot of business analytics. Now we are into IoT. We do some firmware development for clients such as Atmel and Cypress Semiconductors, Intel. So we work with their R&D team to do some of those. So that's our domain. Yeah, a lot of our clients are located in the US, but just to answer one point, is that we also work with a lot of companies within Infopart. So I always say that collaboration is much better than competition. So to me, companies like Suyati, Rapid Value, Xeron, Nyko, so they are all clients as well as vendors. So we exchange resources because there is a huge shortage of resources that we were just talking, especially when it comes to specific areas. So we always share people. And that's what we need to develop, that ecosystem that we actually need to develop. If you are talking about Cochin or Kerala or something like that, we cannot compete with each other. We have to collaborate really with each other. If we want this region as to be a technology hub, and if we want people to look up Kerala as something that they would go to for solutions. And you would be surprised, I'll stop with this, people Google to find Indian companies and all, and they look for places that they would actually like to visit. I have a client who was particularly searching for mobile solutions in Kochi, and in Google and all he found us and came. And I said, why Kochi? And he said, well, I wanted to do business in a place where I would actually like to visit and do some activities also. So he was big on sailing. So he selected Kochi because he could come here and spend some time sailing as well as work with companies here. So Kochi, is already like that, right? So we have a lot of natural gift and if we can just focus on developing technology as one big offering to the world, we definitely have it going. So.
I'll come back to you on this.
Alright.
Now let me just skip on to my right, and we had this team visiting us, which is called Fourth Ampet, so I'm coming to you only. So all interesting things, she goes around with education institutions, connects with them. She'll tell you more about the product. So I'd like to know, once you're out of college, you wanted to be out of college. So where do you want to get back to college and get money out of it, whatever she spent on them? So let's find from her what she did, how they did it, how they brought it up. And I've definitely found some innovativeness in the product they were launching. So we'd like to hear from you as to what you think.
Jessica, I had actually never thought of it that way. You were in a hurry to get out of college, now why you trying to go back in? But that's an interesting perspective. Now, just a little bit on the introduction which was originally given. Now, unlike the other three here, we are also not a straight out of college startup. We graduated, completed engineering. We four of us, the co-founders of the company, were classmates during our engineering days. Neighboring college, Model Engineering College. We graduated in 2000 and went and paid, at least me, I went and paid my IT dues with TCS and then realized that, okay, very interesting life, let me move ahead. Did my PG and completely shifted the industry. I jokingly tell people I've been selling glass before I became an entrepreneur. Some of you may be familiar with the name Saint-Gobain. I used to work for their international competitor called Pilkington. And Pilkington had a very niche operation in the Indian subcontinent, and I used to handle their sales for India. So, and I was quite happy there, B2B sales, thought I found my calling in life, did my PG in between. And due to some personal circumstances, I had to relocate to Kerala. Now, among the four of us who were the co-founders of the company, I am the one I would describe as, the accidental entrepreneur. I did not have any fire burning in my belly, I need to go and rock it. Nothing like that. I was an easy-go, happy person, okay, I'll go where life takes me. The one thing, but in hindsight, which I think brought me to this, to the entrepreneurial journey, was that I was always open to new experiences. Give me a challenge and I would like to go tackle it. Go figure out what it is. And once I am into it, I give my 100%. That is, I think, one of very few skill set I had to be an entrepreneur. So now coming back to this question, why did I want to go back to college thing? When we got together, so the four of us have been working for 10, 12 years, if you take out a couple of years for our higher studies in between. And we just knew that we wanted to do something, or at least those three knew, and I was just tagging along to see what was happening. But when we started talking, we realized all of us were very, very passionate about the education space. Yeah, we didn't rock it when we were in college, but we were very keen that, that there is something there. If you take every one of us sitting here, we are still the elite because we have got access to so much in terms of infrastructure. Whether you utilize it now or you choose to utilize it much later down the line, you are privileged. There is a huge amount of our population who do not have access to it. We started thinking, okay, so that kind of, clinched again that we realized that this is an area of passion for the four of us. So when you embark on the journey, it's very, very crucial that you get into a space that you're passionate about. Trust me, you need that passion to just keep it going on some really bad days, as the rest of us here would agree. So education it was. Now what in education? We tried a lot of combinations, we did a lot of research, things came up. See, what is the ultimate vision that is driving Fourth Ambit? We firmly believe in the power of internet. We believe that a lot of resources can be made available to people who are not as privileged as us with at almost no cost if you utilize it the right way. Do I have the magic solution for it yet? No. But I needed to start somewhere, and Fourth Ambit was the way we started off. So what is it that we do, right? We provide an online platform where colleges, schools can come and set up what can be described as their own private social network. So Rajagiri Business School can have their own private social network, Rajagiri Engineering College can have that, CET can have that, MBC can have that. Right now, if you're a member of that particular network, as far as you're concerned, it's a private personal existence. But where do we see this 1 year or 2 years down the line is that the platform benefits starts kicking in. You're able to bring partners onto the platform. KSUM is one such initiative. So KSUM comes onto the platform and KSUM's partner colleges are there. The information propagation, the content can be pushed from one source. There can be two-way communication made much more easily. So that's just, I'll end up making this a sales pitch, so let me just stop there for the time. Okay, so that's where we are right now. But and that was the reason why we decided, we need to go back into the education space. Now, let me just share some learnings that I had with you in this space. When we started off with this idea, and I'm sure if you guys think, the naysayers are one too many, right? So the four of us had, decent enough jobs there. We quit, we started off. From family, spouses, extended family, society. What if you think it is difficult and challenging for you to start off the entrepreneurial journey while in college, trust me, it just gets so much more difficult 10 years down the line. Now we have the idea. One of the things that we do is you take your idea, you don't just keep it close to heart. You go out there to potential customers, advisors, talk it out, get feedback, because it's the only way you're going to really actually make it bigger. So many people had told us, idea college okay, so some of the colleges started paying us. Private colleges government college. Okay, fine. So we find that it's actually true. When you go to a government engineering college in Thrissur and you ask them for money, that's not happening. But you actually find methods, you find things in the system that actually pays you. So then it becomes things like, how can you take it to the rural schools? How they are private public they don't have money to pay you. But then you find systems, you find resources to make things work. So when you talk about innovation, yes, the idea of getting such a network in place, it's not like ഫേസ്ബുക്കും ബാക്കി സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ ഒക്കെ ഭയങ്കര പ്രോളിഫിക് ആയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു അപ്പോഴേക്കും ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നമ്മൾ ഇത് തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോഴേക്കും. But the idea that we can use this existing technologies to provide a solution like this was not there. But is that the end of innovation and entrepreneurship? No. Every single day you are thrown a challenge and to find a way about it. That's innovation. Innovation is a way of life for an entrepreneur. My examples would tend to be on the sales side because I'm a hardcore salesperson. But believe me, any other stream, anywhere, that's what it is. You will face a challenge, you will find a solution, hopefully not illegal, to find a way about it, and that's innovation for you. Right? Thank you.
Okay, what we are doing in KSM is we have taken the platform of 400 and obviously we've taken it free of cost and we've taken it free of cost on the bargain that we've got around 120 colleges connecting, so she puts this, connects these colleges onto that. But then the lighter things out, what we're looking at is 120 colleges and so many kids getting into it. Why such a platform? Because there has to be a lot of serious exchange which has to happen. Now, your social media is today too much of cluttered and it's got all sort of stuff, and everyone is facing an information overload. So these are mechanisms by which we can selectively reach an audience, we can selectively reach out to people and do it. So that we're trying it out. So that's an innovation which triggered us into this. And before I get into the youngest members of this group, I'll go to Arjun to talk about the founders, why, and yeah. So I'll ask Arjun to talk about their company, the founders. And the way I remember this is when the Global Innovation the Global Innovation Meet was conducted in Kerala. I met these 3 or 4 people from college, and they said we want to do data analytics. I said okay, data analytics what? So we wanted to do for companies, and I think tremendous vision, tremendous interest, niche area, growing area. It is not very common at that point of time. I'm talking about 2012. And there were not too many companies in India which had sprung up, bringing up a data analytics product. So all of us, like Ruby was saying, all of us gave our 2 cents of advice saying that why it is not possible. And generally that is what happens to any entrepreneur who comes up with an innovative idea. Every other Tom, Dick and Harry will tell you how it will not work. And it's up to the entrepreneur to find out how to circumvent all those problems and find a way out. I think we all told them what will not work in that, but probably they found out through their experience, through their efforts, some way of doing it, and it has definitely worked out. So while today stands really good, and probably I think I talk to you about it.
Thank you, Jashankar. This is Rajgiri, that's why I'm in jeans. Usually just 3/4 t-shirts. So guys, before I give my speech, how many of you are genuinely interested in entrepreneurship? Something to start off. How many of you? Okay, keep your hands raised, you're already there. Okay, so what if I tell you that you will not be able to draw a salary for 2 years? Okay, you can keep dropping if you cannot agree to this, okay? So this is like half entrepreneurship, this is like full entrepreneurship, okay? How many are half and how many are full? Okay, now, what if I tell you that you will have to spend like 5 years doing whatever you are going to start, right? 5 years into it. Okay, still there. Okay. What if I tell you that you will find it difficult to get a girl in an arranged marriage? Okay, still there. Cool. No, okay, boys and girls, okay. Now, what if I tell you that probably 80% of you will fail? Yeah, 80 to 90, maybe more. Yeah. Okay, you are still there. Okay. So, if you are all there with all these things, then probably entrepreneurship is the way forward, right? So I just wanted to get this going because, okay, I just need to understand how many people are genuinely into it. I want to really go after it. My name is Arjun. To start off with what I do and how I came into this, I have completed my engineering 2006 to 2010 in College of Engineering Chennai under University of Science and Technology as an electronics and communication engineer. Just like all of you, some of you, engineering, somewhere into MBA, nothing big, I just did a handful of activities in the college with IEEE and some other extracurricular stuff that I was doing. And the team that I have with me is back from the college. We were all batch mates. Back in 2008, we had a small student startup in our college, Then there was no startup, the word wasn't there, and we did not know that we were doing entrepreneurship because we did not know any of those things. We built websites, we probably gave web hostings out to clients. We had like 150 odd clients. We ran this company for 3 years, and it was good, it was all good, but then you being in India, you have this mindset, you need to gain experience to do everything, right? So we also had that mindset, and we thought, okay, now let us go get some experience. We parted our ways, and I worked with Infosys, my interviews. I worked with Infosys for just under 2 years. But Infosys was good with me, honestly. I got a good project, I was into a very good technology, I was into development, it does actually some work. It's not like sitting and staring at the monitor. It actually is some work with a good client in US. So nothing in Infosys kind of made me hate it, but something about entrepreneurship kind of kept me thinking about it, right? Being in my college, I had this extracurricular stuff where I come up with an idea and then it culminates into a product, an event or a project or an initiative, and sometimes when it succeeds, you kind of get a lot of satisfaction. So I wanted to get that back, right? Have an idea within me which will come up, germinate, and then deliver impact to a lot more people, and I was deeply passionate about that. With Infosys, I was into SAP. SAP is a data analytics tool or a software or a platform. So I got introduced to the data analytics, right? How many of you have heard about data analytics? Okay, just to give you a very quick example, when you see Facebook suggesting you a new friend, that's data analytics. They go through all your feeds, they go through your existing friend list and then suggest new people via data analytics. So I was kind of really excited about making sense out of all the data that is coming up in the world, right? Making sense of the huge bits of data. And that's how, when we formed Profoundis, we wanted to do something around data analytics, and that's how we started. 4 friends started off Profoundis 3.5 years back. That's how we started off. And then, we of course had to take a lot of turns while we were going through it. So we initially come up with a concept for a product. We, as Ruby told, we talked it to a lot of potential customers, and all of them said that, oh guys, this is amazing. And we told, yeah, we got the $1 billion idea. And that's when I moved to Bangalore for a brief time. And then somebody told me that, hey, dude, whatever you are imagining as your product, there are another 350 companies doing exactly the same thing. I was like, okay. Now, there is absolutely nothing I can do that the other 350 hasn't done yet, right? So that was the first failure. And then we came up with the next product, which we actually built. This was like a social testimonial management system for companies, which means the companies could keep track of the good buzz around their company. Got good initial traction. Close to 400 odd companies tried it out from 30 odd countries. We thought, okay, this is the $1 billion idea. And when it comes for the payment, the companies were like, it's a cool solution, but it's not a pressing enough problem for us, so we are not going to pay. Okay. So being an Indian company, you really don't have the leverage to keep pushing something that doesn't generate revenue for long. So we decided to shelve the product, which is the second failure. And there are a handful of failures in between, but these are the major ones. And then when I was actually selling iTestify, which was the failed product, I kind of came into the problem statement that created why. So to give you what we do as our current product, if I want to sell something to Ardra here as a company to company perspective, I need to know who she is, I need to know what her professional interest, her skills, her company, how well it is doing, how bad it is doing. So this is called prospect research. I am researching on my prospect. Essentially, the salespeople spend 25% of their time doing this. What we do is we have automated this whole process. You give an email ID or a company name to our product, you'll go out to the public web, collect all the information about that person or that company and puts it in front of you as a dashboard in less than 3 seconds. So that is what we do as a product. Coming to the innovation piece, I think whatever we did was innovative because we did not know what was there. But just to point out certain instances, when we came up with Vibe, we did not know what was the price that somebody will pay for this product. So what we did is, on our website, there was a slider which goes from $2 to $30. The customers can go, slide it to wherever they want, pay and buy it. Right, so that we get an idea. In fact, it was 0 to 30, but so many Indians were putting in 0 and paying it. So we put it to 2 and then to 30. So it was actually interesting because a Silicon Valley investor found it really innovative and he posted it on Twitter, and then another person found it on Twitter and he posted that particular our product on a community, and that's how we got accidentally launched. We were sleepy sitting on our laptops and then we saw that 1,500 people are coming to our website one night, and we had probably the crappiest website that you can imagine. So that probably was one innovative stuff. Second thing is at this point of time, our company has got probably 100,000 users using our product from more than 180 countries, and we haven't spent even a single dollar on marketing as of yet over the past 2 years with this product. So it is a handful of hacks, tricks and tips that we have used to reach down to these 100,000 people. And every day it's actually innovation, because if you keep doing something, you will not get new people. So you got to try something new and you fail and keep learning and then innovate on top of it. Then probably the last thing that I would say is, being an Indian company, we do have some disadvantages, right? We sell to US. That's where our customers are. So we are in India, the customers are in US. It's not that easy to make that sell. So there are a few competition, just like any other market. We also have a handful of competitors. We had to stand out, right? We have an algorithm, that goes out to the web and collects all this information, and the algorithm performed pretty much as good as any of the other technology company. But what we did is, to stand out, we placed a human layer on top of this technology. We built a hybrid engine which uses the technology does the heavy lifting, and the data intelligence team, or the data research team as we call it, they do an oversight of this data to make sure it is accurate. So with this particular thing, this particular hybrid engine that we built, we are probably 3.5x better than our nearest competition, and we are filed 2 patents around it. So that is probably the biggest innovation that we have done, which made us stand out from all our competition. And all our competition wants to be partners with us now, because they can sell a lot more with us on the back end, and that helps me not to sell. They'll do the selling, I just do the delivery, and I can still get my revenues. That's what we do.
That's one good innovation. I think that's going to be one substantial innovation which is going to make them stand out, and then we all look forward to, because it's going to be successes which is going to bring more success. And don't be too worried when I say that you guys are out of college, because 2 years compared to people who have tried after 15 years is still out of college. Okay. Now to Vivek, who is just from one of this institute, and when I met Vivek, I was talking to him because he said I'm kind of giving an IT services, but in the conversation what came out was he in fact is building up products based on his projects. So that's exactly the way you do it. You get one client and you try and build a product over him, or you convert your project to a product and then try and give it to n number of clients. So you build your product and somebody sells his money, so you don't have to worry about it. Now to know more about Vivek's project, he is working in CRM and ERP domain. So I personally was worrying whether he is into a domain where he can really fight the big players who are already there. So he's saying that he is doing it well, and I'd like to hear more from him. And great.
Hi everyone. So first of all, I'd like to thank RCBS for giving this opportunity. Not only this, they have incubated me for 3 years right now, and they have given all support from their side in making businesses into whatever state currently it is. So my name is Vivek. I passed out from Rajagiri MBA and PGDM in 2009-11. 9/11. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm an engineering graduate from Calicut, University of Calicut, 2007. After 2007, that was a period of recession, and there were not much of I was obviously not campus placed due to my good academic background. So I had to roam around a lot of companies. I attended around 32 to 40 interviews in a span of 1 month. I got jobs free, not paying much in the sense they're not willing to pay, but you can work. So I was initially hesitant in not taking up all those things. I don't know, because I was just fresh out of college at that time. Then I got two offers actually. One is from CMC, a Tata company, and one is from a company called Mox Consulting, which is an IIM startup. So both of them, the CMC was paying me much higher, but these guys were offering me an experience. So I picked up that job. In fact, my entrepreneurial journey started off from there. So he was my first boss and he was my mentor in terms of what we do now. In 2007, the Moss Consulting was into space of ERP, CRM. What we used to do is we used to pick and choose hardcore business processes. As an engineer, I was not aware of what a business process means and what it does to the business community. Why is it important? I don't know. So I was just working on pieces of codes, building whatever they give. So I was not aware of what I do. Then working there for around 1.5 years, I figured out that this is an important aspect for any company to go in. If you need to have a structured organization in place, these are the areas that to be targeted. Then I took a break from Mox Consulting. I joined Rajagiri in 2009 and completed. Meanwhile, I was working on a project where we combined ERP with an e-commerce platform, which is again a bit of, I call that was a good project in terms of the exposure it gave us. We were building up a parking management system. Unlike India, we were doing it for a country called Bermuda. And what it does is in Bermuda there are a lot of public parking spaces available. So what this company does is this company has a device which is built in Israel, which I'm not talking about the case in 2012 where the mobile apps, 2012 or 2015 where the mobile apps are uncommon. This was time when mobile apps were not so common in place. So we had a device, they can use this device, recharge this into device. Technologically it was challenging in the sense at that time we were able to connect this device, read this device via web platform. It was not so easy in that. Why it is so? Because if you have a desktop application, there are a lot of computer engineers out here, I guess. Okay, so if you have a desktop application, it is pretty much easy to read out devices. But when you go to a web platform and read out devices, it was not so easy. How do you pass this device to the web environment? So that gives us a lot of experience how to work on, how to integrate this ERP space and CRM space. And after this, I came here, this project was running. In 2011, I got placed with ICICI Bank from Rajagiri. I worked there for 4 months. I was not happy, not because they were not paying me or not because the job was bad. It was majorly because I'm coming from a technology background and the banking side of it is not appear to be interesting for me. So I was talking constantly with my colleague and batchmate Ranjit Joseph, who was in a similar field. He is also from Trishur Engineering College, passed out in 2006 and worked with a couple of companies in the engineering domain. He's out here actually. Then he was also saying that coming from an engineering field, how can we work on a banking? I'm so much bored of this thing. So we decided to plot a company. So thus born in 2012, BaseSense was born. So first of all, we also didn't have any idea of where to start off with. We just know that business process re-engineering and those kind of activities for the SME segment were good enough market. And there were, but we definitely don't know how to sell this. We have only one project which earns us around 25k per month. For that, we do need a developer who will cost us 30,000 rupees a month. So we were running out of cost actually. So we invested some money from our pockets and started off with this. Initially, we didn't make much of money. 1 year, first year, 2012-13, we started in 2012 May. And when the first audit came in, we were somewhere around, say, the revenue of 1.5 lakhs and the expense is somewhere around 3 lakhs. And we are burned out of cash as well. We were not paid, for the next year also we were not paid. So a couple of years it went like that we didn't get payment, we don't have revenues in place to order, so we just survived through that phase. Then we learned that the most important challenge we faced was like with limited resources in terms of marketing, in terms of programming. How do you get and tap this market of services? So then we came up with the idea, like we evaluated at least 50 to 60 products which was open source in nature. We came up with that product, we studied that product in and out of its processes. We came up with some modules which was not actually part of it. In the sense, there was an ERP solution called Web ERP where there is no interest calculation engine. The interest calculation engine is important because whenever a company bills to the invoice is raised, the company should be able to track why this invoice is not paid or which all invoices are due. If there is a due payment existing, that should be charged. Again, if you get that money out of your customer or if you discount it, that's a different case. That is a business decision. But at least you need to know what is happening, how much revenue are you losing out of this one. So we built out an interest calculation engine and just threw it into the Web ERP forum. That actually picked up quite a place and they were looking out for such a kind of solutions. So this was free actually. We built it at our cost and we just gave it to the forum and we got enquiries asking us to build this engine for them, integrate this engine for them. So that was the first initial revenue we created. From there, we got the requirement for CRM. They have the ERP, but how do they connect to their customers? Most of them wanted to connect it to the customers and handle it in a different way. So again, we get back to the blackboard and just stripped around 50, 60 products and then came up with some product which had some initial bugs and issues, but which was not well supported by the community. So we built quite a good amount of things around the same and bring that product into the market. And it is currently running well in terms of how it is marketed. It has a pretty good marketing engine which allows us to sell into that one. Like Arjun was saying, so data analytics, I was having a discussion with Arjun regarding that how data analytics. He does the job of populating the data into the CRM and he does the job of how we use this data in marketing, campaigns and other things. So this was in 2014 this all happened and we had a close to a revenue of around from hardly $2,000 per year in 2012 to in 2014 we were around close to $50,000 a year. And our team size in between we had a lost couple of our co-founders. Initially we started off with 4 people. We had a couple of co-founders who were pressurized from their family, pressurized in terms of society and all other things who wanted to leave out of here. So we were happy, but it was not like a fighting cat fight or anything. They just wanted, we were okay with that. One guy still holds a minimal shares with us and who does some kind of activities for in the Middle East for us. He's working for a company that also does some activities for us from the Middle East. And then the other guy who was completely kicked out of business and he is working with some other firm and Thrissur. We are still in connect with those guys. So that was a challenging situation where we try know that when people goes out of your team, that's where we face the challenges. It was all going good, but all of a sudden it just fell down. So then we started to working on our people segment. People segment in the sense, how do you encourage people to stay with you? What are the things they require in terms of, not only in terms of technology or payment, how you challenge them in terms of, and how do you give them the different exposure towards, making them stick towards this particular company, and how do you ensure that they are a part and parcel of your team in gain or loss. So these are the factors which we address during this phase, and currently we have a team of around 15 people working out of here and 5 people from different locations other than this. So this is about the human resource strength. Now coming to the main aspect, what we currently trying to achieve in the market. So we had this experience of e-commerce, we had this experience of say ERP, we know about the CRM. Now we combined all this knowledge and partnered with a Finnish firm in an altogether different domain. That is the telecom domain which I'm talking about. So what currently happens in the telecom domain is that you might be having a lot of, hearing and reading about a lot of discussions around net neutrality and a lot of things happening. So what we try to do is that we try to bring in an e-commerce platform where you can sell a bandwidth based on your location and time. So at a particular time frame, say now it is largely there is a say panel discussion going around. You want a n number of bandwidth at this point here. You can prioritize this bandwidth via our platform and then can purchase this bandwidth for a particular time, and you will be charged for that hour. So what this one of the case studies where this is helpful is like, say, majorly our first case study is with the broadcasting industry. The broadcasting industry, what it does is like currently, anybody know how the broadcasting industry currently works? Any idea? How a broadcasting is done? Any idea? Okay, sure. Yeah. So currently what happens here is that you will have that OB vans which comes in, you record everything, you just push it into the satellite and then retrieve it back to the station, then broadcast it from there. So via our solution, what it does is that, say, suppose if NDTV want to cover this event, NDTV comes here with a mobile platform. Our platform is connected to the CRM, and from CRM, if they order a bandwidth to this location, they can just pay in there and the bandwidth will be allocated to them based on a user profile. So this allows them to avoid the cost of OB-WAN, satellites and everything. By using the mobile technology, they can integrate and get into the core of broadcasting. This is not yet into the commercial use, but since due to some policy challenges and the government revolutionary activities happening in India, but we had a trial run in Germany, we had a trial run which is, not trial run, running in instance running in Finland, and now we are trying out with the same solution with India and Bahrain. So this is what we currently are focusing on as a different aspect from our services area. Yes, our services area act as a bootstrap to do all these events. So this is about me. Thank you.
So we really look forward to your innovation in terms of applying it to broadcasting and becoming a breakthrough across various countries, and then it's got a large potential to pick up in size and also I don't know, what's your partnership with the Finland company actually? Is it a long-term kind of stuff or is it just for the R&D part of it?
It is not an R&D partnership. We partner with them in terms of, it's a business partnership. It's just like a joint venture.
Regional partnerships?
Regional partnerships are there, yes. Our major partnerships are in terms of Middle East and India.
I'll come back to you on that. Now the last person to talk about this. Now, other we're going to talk about ECA. So, yeah, ECA is right? Yeah, okay. So, what is it that you guys are doing? It's different. What a CSIR did not do, what a Rajiv Gandhi did not do, or Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Biotechnology did not do, or any of the n number of institutions where they were into biotechnology as we know it. And there are a lot of us who are pretty ignorant about what biotechnology is. So, what is it that you do, and how is it different from what the people were doing generally? And there are a lot of scientists who have been researching PhDs galore in our universities. And what is it that you are doing different, and what made you do that?
think I can be the first person to wish you a good afternoon. My name is Ardra, and there are a couple of people who are really sleepy somewhere around here. So I'm so sorry. I'll try not to put you back to sleep. If you feel that I'm bored, just come up here and just tell me, please stop. I'll stop. Okay. Now, first of all, I just want to give you a couple of disclaimers. I'm not very well, so if you start coughing in between, please excuse me. And the first thing I want to ask you is how many people know what probiotics are? Any idea? Please put your hands up if you know what probiotics are. Have you heard of probiotic ice cream? Yes? Great. So, starting with that, I just want to know because I'm going to explain about my company and that should not put you to sleep. Can somebody up the volume of the name of my company is Eka Biochemicals Private Limited. As you've heard from all of them, we are also a startup that originated in college. I am an alum of Sri Chitrakumar College of Engineering, Trivandrum. I'm born and raised in Trivandrum. And my co-founder Gayatri and I were classmates. 99% of our team is from SCT, and that's my college. And what we wanted to do is start a biotech company. So this was a particular dream which came about due to a lack of a certain something, and that certain something is called a job. So there is nobody who is offering us campus placements. There was nobody who was giving us any idea of what kind of job you could expect after biotechnology. So we were one of the pioneers of biotechnology for the past 10 years. We've been hearing that biotechnology is coming, it's still not come together. So okay, so we were not having any jobs, and then we were not having any jobs, so we needed a way around that. And for that, we wanted to start a company. It was very simple. It was very, very interesting to argue about this, and it's very interesting to discuss about such things when you're in college and you're like, okay, I'm a company around, product biotech company, then we all went our own ways. We all finally got jobs somewhere. We forgot about all of this. So I did my master's, came back. Then I was just, again trying to find a job, got a job. That's really bored. This is not a prerequisite for starting a company, by the way. Lots of people love their jobs and still start a company. So I was really bored. And I was thinking, okay, if I started right now, one thing that we've heard from most of them in one way or the other is that later, down the line, maybe 10 years or 15 years down the line, after your work, it's very hard to take that leap. It's like jumping off a cliff into hopefully warm water, but you don't know. You're going to jump and you're going to find out what is there. So this is easier when you're younger because you're more stupid. So you're not thinking about all the risks, you don't have a family to support. So that was one advantage that we had. We started the company in 2014, so we're still a very young startup. Our focus is green solutions. What we have done differently, now I have to circle back to biotechnology right now. How many of you have any idea what biotechnology is? Great, one person in the audience. So 2, 3, 4. Yay! Okay. Hi. So the thing is, biotechnology is a very, very, very vast field. Basically combines biology and technology in different ways. So it can be as complicated as genetics, cancer therapy. It can be as simple as hybridization. New form of rose comes up. Can be a million things in between. It can be waste management, it can be beer brewing, all you guys. So, all interesting stuff, So, it can be a lot of stuff. When you say biotechnology, it can be anything on the spectrum. What we have done is, we have focused on green solutions. I'm going to get a little activist-y here. We have one Earth, and we are a lot of human beings, okay? And at the rate we are going, the Earth is going to give out before we give out. So we wanted to do something to help team nature. We wanted to come up with environmentally friendly solutions which can be used for local problems. Simple solutions for problems that we face every day. This is the passion that we had. Now, our first range of products called Sasya is a very simple microbial plant growth promoter. I'm sure that's very clear to all of you. I'm sure you understood it 100%, right? Good. Now what they are probiotics for plants. They're good bacteria or good microorganisms that can give plants which help them grow. They help them grow, they help them have better immunity, stronger, taller, sharper, all that. Okay? That's what we've made as our first range of products. Now we're also into finding something to recycle water. So get to in Kerala, we have so much water, we leave it open, brush our teeth, watch TV, come back, wash our mouth, close the tap. You know how much water we're wasting? You know how many people are dying for that water? So things like that, we want to try and find a solution for. Not you leaving the tap open, but how can you get more use out of that particular amount of water. So once you've brushed your teeth, washed your clothes, all that, you take that water, recycle it and use it again for gardening, car washing, jhadu pocha, all that. So how do we do that? That is the second line of research that we're doing. And down the line, everyone is saying it, waste management, plastic is a huge problem. Maybe some time down the line, lightning will strike, bell will ring, light bulb will flicker, and we get a great idea. No idea. Let's see. So these are the kind of things that we are passionate about. That's all I'm going to say about ECA. Now about innovation, today's topic. How does ECA innovate? Now it's very difficult to innovate consciously. It's like looking for something when you need it. How often do you find something when you're urgently needing it? Car keys, kanayilla. House keys, kanayilla. Tappum bakitilla. So it's like that. When you try to innovate consciously, it's very difficult to find a good idea. But when you're thinking about other random stuff, you're thinking, okay, how does this happen, and then this happens, and then rain falls and all that, and then some idea will come. So that's usually, for normal people, that's how innovation works. Just another disclaimer, I have no idea what these people said, because I'm from another planet as far as IT is concerned. I'm technologically dumb, backward. I live in the 1800s, so just to make that clear. I do have a phone. My first touch phone I bought last year. Yay. Yes, I'm that old. No, next thing is, so that's how we innovate. Is we sit down, we brainstorm. We have a problem, right? So chemicals in vegetables. How do we solve that? Obviously, take out the chemicals. Now what do we put in? All simple questions. So we can put in, cow dung, chanam, so you can use those. How do you make them more effective? So it's a series of questions that you ask. You put in all kinds of options, then filter it. Can you really go ahead and do something, amazing with a tiny 1,000 square foot lab? No. So what is practical for ECA? Well, that is the filtration process that we take. Then, out of these, which is the best idea that we came up with? That is the third step. Finally, does it work? If it works, yes, we are innovative, we brought out a new solution, we're amazing. If it does not work, nobody, tell nobody. It's a secret, okay? So that's how we innovate. Now, a couple of things. An advantage that we had that RGCB and other people do not have is that they're into very complex things. They're on the genetic molecular biology side of it, which is like, they can clone human beings if they put their mind to it. Very, very complicated, very simple. There's a dumb spectrum of biotechnology, all the way on the other end, zero scale. So it made things simple. We didn't need too much brain power. All of us was enough. Then nobody knew us. Nobody knew mostly, for the most part, what biotechnology was. So we could just say we are biotechnology startup, we are the first fully women-owned biotech and biotechnical startup in Kerala, maybe in India, we don't know for sure, because there are very few biotech startups. Everyone has heard of Biocon, nobody else has heard of any other startup or any other biotech company. So we're like, yeah, we're the next Biocon, done. That is an advantage that we had, because nobody knew what we were doing. Even if we explained, we could just make it a little more complicated and they will still have no idea what we were doing. So, lots of freedom to experiment, no pressure, things like that were to our advantage. That was one thing that we had versus established labs and highly, research-oriented bujis and all that. I'm not insulting them, they're amazing. I have no idea what they do, how they do what they do every day. So they're like brains, we're not. That's the main difference. Then naysayers. Somebody said something very, I think you said something about naysayers, or like all of you. So naysayers, we didn't have many naysayers as far as the company was concerned because nobody had any idea. But we did have naysayers. They were like, "Can the biotechnology company started?" And we were like, "Yeah, why? And when we started doing, when we started trying to set up our company and our lab, we found that to an extent they were right, but to a large extent, it was not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. All you have to do is get started. It's like examinations. Exam, you will study. So if you decide, I'm going to start a company, somehow or the other, this is my aim in life, you just decide, come to it, and you're fine. Then, from a biotech perspective, the way we look at innovation, at least the way I look at innovation, I'm sure my colleagues will look at it more intelligently, is that it is evolution. All of us have evolved from, head scratching, Neanderthals who walked around caves, etc. We've evolved because changes came. If you don't adapt to change, basically you die. So either you innovate or you perish, you change, you die. So it's a very simple, basic, natural thing to change. And innovation is only finding the best way, or the most optimal way to change, so that you get the maximum out of your change. Basically, innovation is evolution for the lazy people. Quickest problem, best solution, pick shortest least amount of effort needed, and you're set. You are an innovator. And innovation is very, to me, innovation is very relative. Okay, it can be something like inventing fire, which is a huge, not inventing, discovering. I can't give human beings that much credit. So discovering fire, inventing the wheel, or it can be electricity, light bulbs. We won't be able to do this without light bulbs or electricity. It can be internet, it can be gene therapy, it can be medical breakthroughs. So all of these, and it also can be food. Have you any idea how many types of food we have? I'm a huge foodie, so every day I'm thinking, how did the first woman or man who made this? How did they figure out, that chaat is going to be this taste? How did they figure out what to put in it? Sorry? Probably. So lots of testing and probably poisoning a few people along the way. So that's how it can be a very important innovation to someone and it can be absolutely pointless for another one. I heard ERP. No idea. I'm sure I'm using that every day without knowing it, Facebook, Google, but still no idea. So that innovation for me is just flying off of my head. But it's a very, very important innovation as far as humanity as a whole is concerned. Things like that. I'm sure, what they use for reviving a patient who just trying to revive a patient who just had a heart attack. Gene thing, right? And that's a very important innovation. I'm sure it saved a lot of lives. So it's all very relative. It can be a huge breakthrough, it can be a tiny breakthrough with huge implications. So unless you keep your mind open to the possibilities, you find it very hard to innovate. Then there's an amazing speech given at the convocation ceremony, so the graduation ceremony of a Hawaiian university. I know I'm going all the way to the other end of the world, but it was given by the Hawaiian mayor. And the most important thing that he has said is, no thing, no can. There's nothing that you can't do. All you have to do is decide you want to do it and work towards that. And in that process, if there are obstacles, you're going to find ways to go over it, under it, through it, around it. But at the end of the day, you will get there if you're focused on it. And all this over, under, around, through will be innovations. So it's very simple, not something that is left to MBA graduates or faculty or PhD people. It's something that every single person does every day. And no cardboard, you wrap your something with newspaper and calendar. You think of that at that moment. So that's also an innovation that your brain comes up with. If nobody else had done it before you, you would have been an innovator there. So another final thing I would like to wind up with this, all of you people sitting in this room, don't wait till after your studies to start following your dream. Because saying, okay, I concentrate for 2 years on studies or on extracurricular activities, whatever your interest is, I focus on that these 2 years, then I will become an entrepreneur. You don't have to do that. You can always start laying the groundwork now. You can always start something on the side now, experiment now. Because now, as they've all said, it's a very comfortable, safe zone where you can try out things. If they don't work, scrap it and try something else out again. So, how many people have tried something? Wild ideas? Hands up, please. Nothing. All very mature people. Alright, so try something out. You know, maximum hour. That's it. We can take a little bit of embarrassment, then we'll definitely do amazing things, because I'm sure that every person here has at least one amazing idea. So all the best, and we hope to see many, many entrepreneurs in this hall.
Yeah, I think Rajagiri is going to have a tough time. People trying out very different things around this place. Yeah, so a couple of things which I wanted to ask Adira, which I'll come back to later. But don't go by this Malthusian theory of the world is going to be full of population and all those things, and the same activist thing about the earth going to perish and all that. You'll see about it later. There's enough time about it. But again, I'll come back to some of these things once I'll have a quick round of questions for all our panelists. Then I'll definitely like you guys to come up with some questions. We got another maybe, I don't know how long we'll be allowed to keep on going, but then around 12:45 to 1 we'll have to wind up. You guys also will become hungry. So, I don't know, I'll just keep the same order. I'll come with from you, Adra, with this question. The question to Adra is, the way, I'm of a school which believes that you can have a systematic way of doing things, innovating things. Okay. Innovation need not always be your apple falling on your head. There needs to be a lot of work which has to be done. Because however you innovate on a candlelight, it will never become an incandescent bulb. So that innovation is a radical innovation. You're talking about the evolution in organic sphere, which is incremental. So would you at some point of time attempt something which is very radical? Or do you think there is a systematic way of proposing a problem? See, that what you do in brainstorming, that's a systematic way of...
It is a systematic way, and I would like to just clarify that I don't believe that there is only a systematic way or there is only radical innovation. Because it depends on the idea, the instance, and the situation in which a solution comes up. So it could be something that's quantum leaps ahead of what we're imagining right now, because everything clicked, magic happened at that moment, and something radical happened. It could be that a lot of hard work went into it, a systematic approach was taken, a scientific methodology was followed, and a good solution was found.
From your question, I'll take it to what I remember from Profounders. Remember when we discussed this, you were talking about data analytics for PSUs. And I remember as one of those naysayers who was saying that PSUs, efficiency improvement through data analysis, are you guys attempting the right thing kind of stuff? You remember that? I think this was somewhere in 2012, if I remember rightly. That was a very good innovative product they had. They're attempting somewhere where efficiency, the need was there, but it didn't work out.
We did not pursue it hard enough, I would say. It was something that was actually worth pursuing. There was this company, I forgot the name, from IIT Bombay, Grabs. They actually built a product around exactly with the same concept that I told you in 2012, but of course the team was much smarter than we were, and the fundamental thing that was missing in our case was the domain expertise. The way I want to put ourselves is like Adra said, the young and stupid folks who has a lot of passion and energy, but we did not know the domain good enough, right? If you want to make a PSU smarter, you got to understand what's happening inside the PSU, right? At the financials, at the sales, at the accounting, billing. You got to understand all these processes and then come up with a systematic BI, business intelligence to help them out. So we did not know the domain enough. That is why we had to kind of move away from that. But I still believe that that company actually proved that is worth pursuing, and they have actually built a big business out of it.
How different is the current product from that?
Yeah, so when we started off, we were starting off with data analytics with numbers. You guys might know the financial numbers, like the sales numbers, the sales forecast, how much will we sell in 2015, 2017. Those are all business intelligence in some way. You are kind of predicting from your existing data that in 2017 you will sell so much, right? So that is numbers, data analytics. From the number data analytics, you move to the textual data analytics. What we are doing at this point of time is to go into the public web and understand that a name is a name, a designation is a designation, a company is a company, and things like a person who is in San Jose, if we just get the location San Jose, we have an algorithm which can say that San Jose is in California, California is in United States, so this is an algorithm which is completely textual. So that is the fundamental shift that we have done. This involves things like natural language processing, like you need to understand from this text that, okay, this is a person's name. Yeah, things like that. If we get a name like word like B Steinman together, then we got to understand that B is probably the first letter of his first name and Steinman is his second name, right? So we got to train our algorithm to understand that B Steinman is like this. And so that's where we are putting in a lot of effort, and we are creating a lot of algorithms. Like if you give a LinkedIn profile to our algorithm, it can say within a tolerance of plus or minus 3 that 25 is this person's age. Right? We go to his experience, we go to the location, we know that in Chile it takes 6 years to graduate, we know that USA is 4, India is 4, so we have the entire mapping of the world which can do that.
What are the data inconsistencies or data gaps?
Oh yeah, so
People like me don't put a year of birth.
right. Yeah, so we don't actually go by year of birth. We will still take a look at your first graduation, which probably can backtrack and say that he graduated when he was 22, so it goes back and say that okay, he's probably born during that time, right? Things like that.
Ruby, like coming back to the innovation that you worked out, you got money out of people who were not willing to give you money through business models. That's actually a business model innovation. You might have done out of sheer necessity of doing it, but then how do you really approach it? How do you find out ways of doing it? Is it just like if something hits your head, or you really work it out?
No, not really the hitting on the head model. So what happened is, we actually, when we approached colleges, our, the end where we thought the money is going to come from was very different. It's only by trial and error we realized that, it will take a long time to get money from here. To survive, we need money from here. So before that realization happened, we actually walked into colleges and offered our services our product for free. And back then we were like, to look at our product services combo, the product was the lesser thing and the services was bigger. We offered it for free because the first 2-3 clients was, it was a need because you were completely the new entrant, they don't know what you're going to do. So for our need, we offered initially free, and we thought that's the way business is going to be. But once when people started using it and they started seeing value in it, the money conversation started becoming easier. They are seeing firsthand the amount of work that we have to put in, and it's not 100% a systematic approach. We did what was the need of the hour, went forward, went ahead. But the apple dropping moment also happened by this very wonderful organization called NAC and NCA, because they made one of their rules that you need alumni data for accreditation purposes, and we're the people going in and saying that we'll help you do this.
We were ready for the situation.
We were ready for the situation, yes. So that's how it came about.
Vivek, just to come back to you. Now, you heard about the data being captured. As you said, you analyze and use data. And then you said that the next big thing is what you're trying to do is in the telecom. Right? So how did all these pieces fit in together actually? Like how did this consultant come in? Where did he match your telecom with your kind of work, and how did this stuff fit into?
So one of the core ideas our company focus is on that the experience we gain out of different industries can be used in different other verticals as well. So that is why I told first when we started off with this e-commerce stuff, we were focusing on most of the companies who does e-commerce concentrate on the product, how it is displayed, and we were more focused on how you can reach out to this thing. Let's say in terms of how efficiently you can build this as a technology, and how this example in a different sector, selling a product like a shoe or a shirt or whatever it is, can be different when it comes to a different industry. That is one key learning which we used to keep and keep repository of these things. So whenever we have a model of how these data can be used, how our project experience in one domain can be used in another domain, how you map these things. We have a specialized method of doing this.
How did you get this particular domain in a different country and how to...
Yeah, I am coming back to that one. This is what happened. So we have this idea. We know that once I was going through a LinkedIn article regarding the Finnish partners article regarding that there has been a lot of scope. So I just sent him an email saying that I am interested in discussing with you on this one. So at first he didn't give me a look at it. But after a couple of emails, he just sent back an email saying, what do you want to do? Many people has approached me saying that they will give us R&D support, technology support. So I told him on the face that we are not going to give you technology support, you are good with that, whatever you have. What we can do is that value add-ons onto what you have. Say you are a small company, they were a company with 5 people. We have sufficient connect in different parts and say different verticals, which we will partner with you and take your product to the next level in terms of how it should be. So currently they were planning only on their they had only this one case study of broadcasting. From that we have expanded into IoT platforms. This has been connected with a lot of other ideas as well, and they were able to scale it up to the were in developed countries. In India it is taking them, that is because of the policy and other things, but they were used to able to take these cases into different countries and use it and make it practical. So we were offering, our offering was like, we will collaborate with you, bring in a process to you, and in return we don't want money, we don't want you to pay us.
Next time you see a LinkedIn profile like that, would you like to vibe it out and see who is the kind of guy, what he wants?
Definitely we will look for it.
Okay, so coming back to you, innovation to the core is that's how we call the tagline. But then dress style, casuals, all those things have become order of the day. Because a good feeling workplace to have is something which, I think startups these days ask people to work as much as possible. Right? I think you tell them that you are entering into a file soon, so be ready. But then how do you keep that innovative workplace, or how do you really pick on those technologies that you've done? You've done so many different technologies. So which is the in thing and how do you pick on that?
Well, so there are two things. I mean, innovation in the way we do work in terms of technology is always. I mean, in technology there is, we realize that there's always a fact, right? Every 6 months or 1 year you hear something. Big data was there last year. This year you don't see people talking about big data, even though what Pramod is doing is close to the big data. But this year, wherever you go, you see IoT, right? It's on IoT and this one IoT, and 6 months down the lane you will be talking about something else, right? So artificial intelligence and robotics. I mean, robotics is also a story of the world. So in terms of the work we do make sure that there's a mix of things that we do. One is we are a services firm, so we really need to make our money from IT services. So we have a set of clients for whom we have a team that does regular work. It's mundane, maintenance, development, whatever it is. On the other side, we do a lot of R&D. In the sense that we have people who want to do, they want to be challenged with something. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley. Some of the products, ideas that we do, if you talk about it, you will be smiling at me or you will be laughing. And there's a guy who wanted to put a chip on the shirt that you are wearing, so that if somebody in the audience wants to know what Jaishankar is wearing and how much it is going to cost in Walmart, they can find it out. And it will actually, the mobile app will actually take you to the Target or Walmart website, and you can say that order it for me. And then no, not the exact shirt. It will get you to the exact shirt. That's the chip, and the chip costs 80 cents to make in China. This guy went to China all the way. I have the chipsets in my office if you wanted to see that. Now the guy has moved to what is called the talking socks. So the socks is going to have a chip. So I mean, it's not part of IoT domain, and I'm working with a company called what is called Doctor Chair. So it's for people in IT who are going to sit on a chair and work for a long time. Every half an hour, it's going to send you a reminder saying that, hey, you've been sitting on the chair for half an hour and not moved. So go and walk and get a coffee. So I mean, these are projects that don't make much money in terms of, but our people are interested in doing that. And this guy came down all the way from California to here just for a day. You know why he was only here for a day? This guy was supposed to board a plane from Washington DC to India. And I casually sent him an email saying that, okay, Mark, you should have the visa, right? Oh, do you need a visa to go to India? What is it? Boy, you need a visa to come to India. What were you thinking? So then he went to the consulate and he cancelled the ticket. He got a visa for India in 3 days or something. So his 5-day trip was cut short by 1 day. This is how entrepreneurs work, right? For them, it's free. They can go anywhere. So that's the innovation part of things that keeps it. But on the work side, on the employee side, and on the team side, I mean, if you're a small startup, it's okay. You can say, you come in anytime, you go anytime, things like that. But when you are, that's some of the pain that we are feeling now is that we have an 80-member team. We are soon trying to make it into a 200-member team this year. So we are hiring aggressively and whatnot. So when your size grows, unlike many of the people here, I mean, I'm a bigger size company, so you have a larger team. So you have to set a company culture, the way we work and all those things. So you still need not lose your core culture thing. So we promote work from home, lot of work from home. I have on every day I have 5 to 6 people working from home. And I talked to my neighboring companies here, and they said that one of my neighboring companies, delivery manager was here, and I said that my VA is working from home, so do you want to talk to her? Working from home? Right? I mean, I'm talking right now, today. People don't allow that. They don't accept the fact that you can actually work from home and, control, contribute and all those things. So we still need to be flexible and do things. So you need to manage both.
Okay, because I think nothing more to say from my side. I'll just give 2 minutes each of all of you. So what is the next big innovation or next venture you can say either what you're going to launch, you're going to surprise us all, or what is worrying you in terms of your scale up of your company. So start from there.
So as I told you that we have reached some amount of revenue state. Now we are getting back to the itch that we have not reached somewhere. So we are getting back to the push that we are revamping everything and we are rebuilding, working upon our strategies, how to get into the market more aggressively. Now we were working on the small and medium segment. We are targeting now to the enterprise segment, how to get there, not only by services, but how do you combine services with product and get back to them. So that is the next year strategies which we are trying to move ahead with. And in terms of this telecom stuff, we truly look forward that it takes up some big leap this year with some policy changes or some government interventions coming into this segment.
For the most exciting thing happening within Cabot is I'm working on an IoT platform for beehive management. So it's a very interesting product. So it should be out there. I'm planning to present it in the NASCOM startup in next month or something like that. So okay, I mean it's a end-to-end platform where we're going to study the movement of beehives in farms, because I don't know, she probably understands, other will probably understand. The beehives, honeybee population is very critical. They say that as we see the beehives disappearing, the human race is in danger or something like that. So, but this is a platform that we are building for it. It's a good use platform for farming sector and agriculture. It will also be used in different industries, because it's all about data points, collecting data, connecting it to a mesh of interconnected devices, and getting it into a database and analyzing it and whatever it is. So that's something that we are working on in partnership with a couple of companies like Atmel and Cypress Semiconductors. So we're very excited about that. That's our own product. It's not a project for anybody else. So that could be our first venture into the product space. So we're very excited about that. Other than that, we are growing in InfoPark. So looking forward to have a larger presence here. Maybe some bright end. You don't think it's all about entrepreneurship, right? I mean, you can also be an intrapreneur. You can find a good company to work and become an intrapreneur in my company also. So if everybody here starts a company, then I will be left without any people to recruit. So don't just think that you can be an entrepreneur, be an intrapreneur also. So that's it for me.
Yeah. So looking forward, we are going to double down with Vibe. We just turned profitable in January. This is a big deal for a startup to have more revenue than you are burning. So we are looking at, so the team scaling up is happening pretty well. We are a 55-member team now. We'll be looking to be a 150 to 175-member team by the end of this year. And these will be Greek and Latin, but we are just closing one round of investment now, and possibly be looking for the next round by the mid or the later half of this year, if the recession and the bubble break doesn't happen so badly. So yeah, those are the scaling up piece of it, doubling down with the algorithms technology, keep hiring and get the best folks together, and then fundraise our product, and of course keep selling it's always there. So these are probably the 4 things.
So see, what we've accomplished so far is the communication bit and the content bit and networking bit. We have a slew of other modules, as we call it internally, which we want to deploy into this community. The immediate next step would be the one we call internally the mentorship module. I don't know what name it's going to be when it actually comes there, but what we want to achieve is this. See, Arjun, let me take an example. He does a lot of mentoring in the IEEE community and always there to help out to anyone who reaches out to him. I know he has enough goodwill to help anybody who comes to him from personal experience. But let's say there is a college in Hubli and there are some aspiring entrepreneurs. They may not have access that we have today. What if he is able to, he knows of such a forum there or somebody, those kids have access to entrepreneurs from their immediate network. So that's what our mentorship module aims to achieve. Of course, the POCs would go at a college level, but they're taking on to the platform level. That's something that we want to do.
On the practical aspect, as far as Eka is concerned, we're still very young. We'll be completing our second year of existence in June of 2016. So it's very early to say we'll be doing this or we'll be doing that or we'll be thinking of scaling up anytime soon. But we will be looking at investment opportunities in the coming year or the coming 2 years. And we've already gotten a lot of very positive, very energetic mentors. So we hope to work closer with them, develop more things with them. So that's a practical aspect of it. And maybe a very exciting thing that will happen is we'll figure out whether we want to focus on manufacturing of products or development of products. So that's something we're still a little young to decide at the moment. Then on the wish list side of things, we hope to have a significant solution for either plastic waste or water management. Excuse me. Thank you for waiting while I had. Anyway, so yeah, we hope to have something. years, and we hope to bring about a bit more awareness regarding what can be done by clubbing biotechnology with day-to-day life. What can be done in the green aspect of things. And I'd finally like to leave you and go peacefully and die. But before that, I just want you young people, you very young, brilliant people, to go online and search for things like how many species are there in the world. Do you know? Have you ever searched for it? If you haven't, it's very interesting. And how much water does an average human being need? Then stuff like how much tree cover is there in the world. I'm not being, fatalistic or, calamitous, the world is good and nothing like that. But I just want as many of you to understand what the world is. So how delicate everything is. And what a crucial role we play. And not only boring, how each of us can cut down on our humanity and our effect on the environment. So if you're interested, if you have the time, if you have the time, please go on Google and search for stuff like this. It's very, very interesting, I promise you. Thank you.
I mean, we already went past our time. Though, if there are any specific questions for any one of them, you leave me out of it. There are any specific questions for any one of them, we can just quickly put across to them, and then we can wind up and then go for lunch. So, question.
Hello. Yeah, sir, the question was basically about, see, the startup doesn't have a lot of funds, right? I mean, when you actually start a company, you don't have a lot of funds. So how does a startup, unlike the MNCs like Google or say Microsoft, survive a period of something like a recession or a market dip? Like, do you have some kind of strategy in which you are planning for this, or is it like no? Basically, the question is, how do you tackle something like recession or inflation?
I personally pray.
So, from a service perspective, startups has an advantage over when there is a recession coming in. That is my personal perspective. Whenever there is a recession coming in, companies always look out to cost cutting measures to do this. And that's where service company have their edge over it. That's the point where a service company can hit into the market, unlike the MNCs. They have lots of operational costs which they cannot cut down, and the only measure they will do is that reduce on the head count. But rather, a service startup can be a lot of advantage when there is a period of recession. I'm not praying that a recession happens, but that is how it works.
So basically, when a recession comes, when a startup, usually, we keep track of the trends. Like in our company, last October, September, we kind of knew that there is something going to come. If you see the history over the past 200 years, every 8th or 10th year, US is always hit by a recession. 2015 was the 8th year, it didn't happen. 2017 is going to be the 10th year. 2016 is going to be the election year. Till the election, no hell will break loose, but just after the election, the hell might actually break loose. So being on the startup side, we try to keep track of these trends. And whenever you see that there is probably a chasm where you got to jump over, then there are two things that you do. First thing is you cut down whatever cost that you have. In most of our cases, there is nothing much to cut. But the other thing that you do is you make sure that you have enough money in your bank to get you through that recession. A recession essentially is probably between 12 to 14 months or 14 to 18 months. So you just got to make sure that at the net burn, at the current rate at which you are getting your company through, you got to have enough money in your account to get you to the 18th month. So firstly what I did is, when I thought that okay, there's going to be a big thing happening in India, it will happen in June, I won't say hopefully, but in June is probably when the head will break loose in India. So I had to make sure that I have enough money in my account before March, April, because by April everybody will know that there will be a problem. So I started my fundraise efforts in October, and then I closed. I got commits, and I am pretty much at the close level where I have a bridge round, a small round of investment which can take me to the 14 to 18 months. This is not something, you guys might be thinking, okay, this guy is very smart that he got to know all these things. It's not like that. I have been spending a lot of time reading how good people does this analysis. You get a lot of this information online through blogs, through the industry writers and stuff like that. And it's always experience. Being on the ground for the past 3.5 years, you kind of get to learn these things. So that's how you got to jump up the recession. Another thing is that you got to have the customer revenue. The customer revenue is one revenue. The customer money is something that wouldn't dry up. Right? The customers will keep paying you if your product is good enough. So one way to do it is to make sure that you go after. So if you are in the recession and then you know that 2 months recession is going to happen, don't go after investors. You will never get the money. The investors will just keep pushing you back and back. So if you are that level, then go to your top 10 customers and double down, upsell, cross-sell, do something there to get more money from those 10 customers. That's what always works. These are some of the things that startups, a bit more mature startups will do.
Something that's usually never stressed enough is that you always, if you are an entrepreneur or part of a startup, always keep your eye on the money. So know the pulse of your company, the pulse, the heart, everything is the money. So unless, as he rightly said, unless you know how much cash you have left, which will keep your company running, you're in the dark and you will not know how you will handle it if something like a recession comes up. So make sure that you have a plan B, you have a plan C, you have a plan D. Because you never know what can happen. There are ways of predicting it, but something very small that affects only your sector or only your company might happen. It might be local, it might be global. So in such cases, what can I do to get over that emergency? So always the first answer is have backup money. However much you invest, always find a source of a potential investor or a potential angel, somebody, keep them in the back of your mind so that at a time when cash crunch it will always come. In case of giants, in case of, you ask for Google, right? Google started out of the garage. So everybody comes up through that. It's just a matter of planning, of keeping track of your finances, of keeping track of where the money is going and how it's coming in, whether it's coming in, and at the end of the day, being smart about your plan, not being emotional, but being intellectual. Keep your mind in the game. So that's probably my very short experience. That's probably what I can add to what you already said.
Yeah, I'm a faculty here. Does our education system support innovation and entrepreneurship, or what changes in the system that you would like to see?
May I? Yes, sir, that's a very pet peeve of mine. If you ask me, I think the one thing, at one point I think it was Jaishankar who said, the culture is moving, that parents and the world is generally more tolerant of somebody going an entrepreneurial path. As teachers, as parents, as whatever you exist in the society, we need to educate our students to be more, actually we need to show more tolerance for failures. Because you can innovate, you can do things, but the fear of failure looms so hard that you just backtrack and run. As I say this, I am also guilty of over cautioning people who come to me or my younger siblings, and I've also been on the other end of it. You come with an idea, you're like, but why? There's a security here. Oh God, you put in so much of money, you put your life savings, because my company is bootstrapped and tomorrow it tanks. The stigma associated with failure is what destroys and kills half the game. So as institutions, if we remove, you can do anything, take that first step in removing the stigma associated with failure, it would go a long way.
adding on to and specifically starting off with the answer, I would say no. The current education system as such is not really supporting entrepreneurship or any of the innovation activities. To some extent, yes, but to the larger extent, no. A couple of the things that I always felt is lacking, of course, failure, tolerance to failure. A person getting a D grade is probably the worst in the class, and we keep telling them that you are bad, from every end of it. So yeah, that's tolerance to failure. Yeah, the second thing is the industry exposure. If I ask the MBA guys, the engineering guys, tell 10 companies you can potentially be employed with. What is the role that you are going into that company? Inside that role, what is it that you're actually going to do? I'm pretty sure 90% of you won't have an idea, right? Which is very bad. Right? You are probably in your second year, third year, final year, you will be part of the industry in another year, and you don't know what you're going to do there, right? And you don't even know which company or which kind of industry that you're going into, right? That is the worst as it can ever get. The recent survey told clearly that the Indian graduates, I don't know whether it's engineering or generally graduates, 84% are not employable, right? Not readily employable. And being startups, all of us face this challenge. I employed one person after checking through 2,200 resumes. Literally 3 of us sat through all these 2,200 resumes, called probably 250 people, went through the interviews and got one person. It's a pretty bad shape, right? So failure, then industry exposure. The third one would be how many of you actually know to do stuffs, hands-on stuffs. The education system doesn't promote our students to do hands-on stuff, right? Our engineering projects, people do it outside, right? How many of our lab, like when I went to my engineering project, I said that I want to do something about wireless electricity. Of course, I wouldn't be able to do anything about wireless electricity, but I could have tried. But our project system is such a way that only if you make the bulb light, you get marks. Anybody? So basically, you got to get out of this mode. People should have the freedom to come out and try something new and then get their hands wet. And that is probably the 3 things that education can change so that our environment is more conducive to entrepreneurship, innovation, better society, everything.
Just leave a word of caution here. The corollary does not work always. Like, it's good to attempt, and a genuine attempt, failing should be treated as good as success. Good. But just failing it as per se is not a very cool thing. Don't fail to fail. But even if you attempt something new and fail, that should be accepted. So both have to be there together.
There's also one more thing that our education system could probably use. A lot of us, myself included, have not worked at a job until we get our first job out of college. I think this would be true for 80% of our young, at least 80%, so 90% of all of us. So work is very, very, very tough. It's called work for a reason. So the earlier you see the business communities, such as the Gujaratis, the Marathis, there are certain people who are very famous, the Parsis, Tatas for example, who are famous for entrepreneurship because they have this culture of involving their children in business at a very young age. This is one of the reasons. So they have an idea of how an organization works. Entrepreneurship is not just a theory paper. It's something that you have to face every single day, every single night. You stay awake at 3 in the night and think, how am I going to do this? How am I going to grow my baby, my company into the next Tata or Birla? How? So for that, we need a basic understanding of how a job works. For that, I think that we should have some kind of, not just internships or 15-day training periods, but actually jobs where you get paid very little money for a lot of work, because that's real life. So maybe sometime down the line.
So you mentioned about many drawbacks at present scenario. Okay, so as pioneers or charities of this small startups, what are the elements you can provide or what are the elements you wish to or provide to the education system now so that there may be an improvement?
Probably they can add to it, but then what we are attempting to do, I can tell you. The whole idea of starting a boot camp in a college is for you to attempt put a hands-on experience on doing something. We are attempting doing something maker, as in just go and try and do something, make something, and then see whether you're able to do it. Make a company there and try and do it and see whether you're able to work it. You register or not register is a different issue. But try and see how it feels to run a company. Try and see how it feels to earn your money to spend. Now, that is something which you can try out in your boot camp. And the amount of attempts that you do in your boot camp, there the other question comes. Even if your boot camp project fails, you still have a good academic project. It may not be a commercially successful project, but it will be an academically successful project that satisfies it. So this is what we are trying to put it on a college level. And as far as coming back to college and mentoring, I think all these guys can do.
Yeah, so mentoring, going and talking, all these things, all of us do and all of us can do. But answering very specifically, as a startup, what do we do? In our startup, we take interns, but very few, very selective, but we do take interns. Whomsoever are interns with us, we make sure that we spend enough time on them, right? We make sure that we handhold them to a level where they are good. So we had 6 interns till now, serious 6 interns. And out of the 6 interns, 3 of them joined us. They got Amazon offers, but they still came back to us because the learning curve was pretty steep for them and they just wanted to be in the culture that they were in the internship. And out of the other 3, 2 of them went on and started up other startups. And the 6th guy, the 6th guy joined an early startup which got acquired by Freshness. So, out of the 6 interns, when you look at it, can you create a change? Definitely. Being a very small startup, we cannot make a 600 people impact, but we really made an impact at the small level, right? So, being a startup or being facing the problem of not getting the best skills, we'll have to invest more. So we take always a balance between freshers and experienced folks. We never go after hiring only experienced folks. We have an equal balance of freshers and experienced folks. And we make sure that the attrition rate is very small. Over the past 3.5 years, there has been just 1 person who left the company from the core product team. So these are some of the steps that we do as a startup to get this going.
Thank you all of you. Thank you for the RCBS management for having conducted this panel discussion. All the panelists for sharing their experience and actively participating, and all the students for keeping your eyes open and also holding on to your lunch for so long. Thank you all. I think Neethi, you can share the contacts of all these people across to the students so that they can connect back.
Well, it's now time to express a sincere gratitude to all our panelists. We have a very small token of appreciation, and to present our token of gratitude to our panelists, I invite Dr. Jaishankar. Well, first to Art Club. Dr. Rosemary Wallace, a PG Chairman. Once again, I'm sure that was a very interesting and inspiring session. Thanks to this team of young, dynamic, energetic, diverse entrepreneurs. I'm sure you all kindled that fire in our students. Thanks once again. And Jaishankar, thank you very much. Now in between, I'm not really sure if Jaishankar tried to paint a picture of us being very old. Well, I don't know if I heard it wrong or he said, started working in the early 90s, definitely not me. Though we were classmates, Venkatesh claimed he was 2 years younger. I think I'm still a few more years younger. Thanks everyone once again, and to the audience, thanks very much. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you. Thanks also to our student team for having organized it well, and to our volunteers. Well, Samyuk is not comfortable reading a script. He can come and speak offhand. So thanks Samyuk, and thanks Arjun, and thanks to all the volunteers. Thank you.